Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Neremik, and welcome to the 12 Days of Neremik GTA Christmas Special. We're lucky that the new heist drops around now, but yeah, let's get straight into it. There's a lot of footage to sift through, and chances are this ain't even gonna hit 8 minutes. Anyway, so the Cayo Perico heist is out, so first things first, I spanned the wheel, because it's free money. Didn't win the car, which was a shame, but that wasn't really important. But anyway, we went into the new nightclub and decided to speak to B-Tech James Charles and his family, who's basically like, we're being blackmailed, please steal a lot of money from this mental man on an island, and I was like, sure. I had a little bit more of a look around from the new nightclub, but eventually I settled on buying the cheapest submarine money could buy, which apparently comes with a homeless Russian man. Anyway, he gives me the walk around and he's like, yeah, this does this, anyway, do the heist. And with that, we actually just set off to the island. We had English Dave and a few random people, and I'm pretty sure half the budget for this DLC was spent on Dr. Dre, but I digress. Anyway, so we arrived under the guise of being a booker for the DJs or something. I don't know, I played the heist 6 days ago, you think my memory's gonna be good? Hell no. Anyway, so he seems kind of chill at first. We jumped to the beach party, had a little look around. This is actually the only place of the heist you can access in free roam, so it's kind of cool to see it's actually nice, and it's a nice little place. But with that, I had to escape and obviously start scouting out the island. Now, there was a lot of mistakes, and the first one was me thinking I was Mr. Smart. See, I dove into the ocean and thought I could just swim round the island, and that'd let me straight into the compound. Turns out, no, there's literally nowhere around the island where you can climb up once you go in. So, yeah, I just kind of had to end up drowning myself about 10 minutes into that endeavour. But with that, I started sneaking around. And here's where my stealth skills were kind of lacking. See, I hadn't touched the game properly for about 6 months, so when it came to dodging those guards, I was really bad at it. You can see a little compilation now, as one of my friends would put it, and I got hit in the chest with a gun a lot of times, and every time I did I would be sent straight back to where I started. But with that said, I found the compound, hacked into the little security tower, cutting in here. But fun fact, when you first access the cameras, you get to see a man get locked in a cage with a not so friendly animal. Obviously I can't show the scene in its entirety, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put a very poor, sort of PNG transparent thing on top of the scene. You know, I really can't show it, but we're going to refer to this man as being pogged. Yeah, I just thought I should include this because apparently Rockstar thought they should include it in their game as well. And I scoped out the place. I found out where this little blackmail document was being kept, scoped out all the loot around this house, and with that I went to scout out the airport and the dock and stuff. Found some weed, bolt cutters, you know, general stuff. Now, it wasn't until a little while later in the day that I realised you can't carry an infinite amount of stuff for this heist, which meant I spent ages scoping out stuff. I went to the dock, I looked for as much loot as I can, you know, I was scoping out pretty much everything on the list. You know, points of interest were kind of a second thing. I took a picture of a dock and managed to scope something from like half the map away. But you get the gist, I scoped out everything with the idea I could walk away with it all, and how much of a fool I was. But like 45 minutes later and a couple more guns to the chest, I was ready to leave the island and, you know, get down to the actual heist business. It's similar to the casino heist in the sense that, you know, you gotta do prep missions in free roam. It's not like the original heists where there were setups. After that I decided I'll go raid a gun place. It was in a CEO office. I just kind of took everyone out inside, took the guns, had to go AFK for a little while, came back, got the guns, completed the setup, fine and dandy. Now, I didn't really know what approach I was doing, but I was like, if there's anything I want to do, I want to kind of go in a little bit undercover because the big con for the casino was really overpowered. So up next I had to go steal a boat. It was about as easy as you'd expect. Kill a few people, get the boat, take the boat to the drop-off point, boom. And there were a bunch of more updates like that. So, for example, we had to steal a fingerprint cloner. Trust me, that's going to come back to haunt us later on. We had to steal some other stuff like safe codes, I think. And yeah, it was overall pretty cool. They were reusing a lot of stuff, but it was kind of cool to see it, you know, be used for different things after so long, and I was down for it. You know, we were slowly building up things. I think I went back to scope out a few more points of interest. Things were going good. And that's when I decided to actually try and launch the heist. This is where it kind of fell apart, if I'm being honest. Because you see, first attempt of the heist was kind of, I just had some random guy with me. We go into the dock, we try and stealth it and failed miserably, and then I had to Alt F4 because hey, my Domino's is there, and honestly, pizza comes over gaming any day of the week. But second attempt. This is where I brought my friend Wyatt and another friend Arspasic along with me, and we had about the same results that you'd expect, which was complete and utter failure. Yeah, we actually managed to get, you know, we got through the docks, we were being Mr. Sneaky, but eventually we were caught, so we had to kind of storm into the compound. Wyatt actually carried us. Me and Arspasic ran out of lives, and a change that they made to the heist was, once you're out of lives, it's only if everybody dies the heist fails. If there's one person left standing, they can't respawn when you're out of lives, so they can keep on with the mission. Eventually Wyatt actually makes his way into the compound, dies, and then we all spawn in. After a decent bit of trial and error, I find English Dave in a cave, which is a surprising thing, but we make it into the vault. And here's where that fingerprint scanner I was talking about comes into play, because I had no damn idea what I was doing with this thing, okay? Like, I understood I had to try and make, like, the edges line up and stuff, but eventually I got it, you know. I think I ended up trying to hack the elevator at some point, which was kind of stupid. You know, I had to turn the safe. The safe was surprisingly the easiest part out of all of this. And then we walked out the front gates, and this is where the problems came in, because you know how I mentioned the first heist attempt my Domino's was arriving? Well, see, this was shot a few days later, around lunchtime, and my KFC was arriving, so, you know, same thing happened. We said we'd retry, and I kind of just left it for a little while. But this is where the final attempt comes into play. You see, my initial attempts with randoms didn't go too well, but I decided to recruit 4 because by this point I'd found out the loot you could carry was limited by how many people you brought in. I had scoped out enough targets so we could all grab ourselves a nice little bit of loot and be set off because honestly, in retrospect, I had someone called Vic Doge on my team. Someone had numbers in their name, and the other person didn't capitalise their name. We weren't exactly in for the best time, but here's where the fun begins. We go into the heist, everything's fine. We actually do a little bit of it sneaky, but eventually it goes loud. We all make it into the compound and basically use the same respawn glitch we did before, so everyone had respawned inside. We make it to the vault, do the same thing, and this time, I didn't have food on the way. So we start making it outside, and here's where it starts to fall apart. We actually failed a few times trying to escape, but luckily, one thing I didn't mention is there are preps to disrupt their thing. And since I saw at the very, very beginning that there was a badge for doing all 3 of them, I'd actually gotten rid of a vast amount of their helicopters, guns and armour, so getting through the enemies once we were kind of used to the layout of the island was pretty easy. The only downside is that all the trees and bushes on the island are made out of literal steel, so you can see now we crashed a lot trying to go off-road, but eventually, all was going good. And that's when my last teammate died. Yeah, I was the last person alive. Somehow the loot they dropped was still in my bag. I didn't care, it was a day 1 glitch, okay? And I made it to the airstrip where I said I'd loot some more stuff before I left. And here's where I realise I can't take off. Now, in the prep they mentioned there being air defences, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I thought I took those out with the helicopters. But it turns out I had to hack a nice little control tower in order to take them down. And let me say, with 4 people spectating me, it was a bit stressful. I had no idea what I was doing on this hacking page, but eventually I got out, only to see I was, you know, absolutely surrounded by guards, but I wasn't giving up. I actually managed to fight them off, get to the plane, fly off the island and get a, you know, admittedly pretty awful take in the end. But, like I said, this is a very short episode. Not much else happened after that. Didn't really spend it on my submarine, though I did actually end up painting it white and orange. It's the Quebblecop submarine, as some will call it. And yeah, definitely I think if this is going to be something that appears in the next few episodes, I'll definitely be a lot more experienced. There was a lot of things I learned, namely not ordering food while I'm doing a GTA heist, which I think could be applied there. I do hope you enjoy. These videos are really difficult to stitch together, hence why the runtime is a little bit low, but I do hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Again, this is a 12 Days in Neremik thing. It's quite rare, so I thought I'd kind of throw it in. And yeah, the 4.5 hours of footage that this is comprised of, like I said, whittling it down to some pretty concise stuff is quite difficult, but I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to check out the rest of the playlist, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. I make a lot of different content to this. This is very much a very rare series for the channel, but you know, check out the other stuff, see if you want to stick around. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my very, very quick crash course of what happened on day 1 of the Cayo Perico heist. Admittedly, if there's anything to take away from this, don't jump in the ocean. If you do, just drown yourself. Trust me, it's spacebar. The only time you should ever really be in the ocean is for that damn drainage tunnel, which is... oh. But I think that's everything I have to say. So with all that said and all that aside, thanks for watching, guys. My name's been Neremik, and peace out.